it's 7:09 according to Brennan time, and this is actually punctual for me. There's chairs up here if you'd like to sit up here and be comfortable. I know Mr. Hanna won't talk a long time because he's not yet a politician. But, after we get him elected and he runs for re-election, I'm sure we'll have to sit down and his speeches will be much longer than they will be tonight. Most of you know me. I'm Patrick Brennan. I am the Town of Marshall Republican Committee Chair. Mark Barnes, the Town of Sangerfield Republican Chair, and Bill Hopsicker, the Town of Augusta Republican Chair. And the three of us collectively thought it would be a great idea for the three townships to host Richard Hanna, who was endorsed by the United County Republican Committee a little over a week ago to run for the congressional seat of the 24th District. I will share just, well, before I share this comment, some housekeeping. I want to make certain that the punch is gone before we leave, and I want to make sure the cookies are gone. I'm certain they're delicious because Mark Barnes has been baking all afternoon. And now I'll be serious for a moment. 2 years ago, when Richard Hanna ran for the congressional seat, I think we as Republicans let him down. I know I was grateful that he was out there running for this position because it's an incredibly important position. And why I say I feel like I let him down, and I think we as Republicans and as a committee, particularly a committee, we let him down. He doesn't agree with me entirely. He told me this, but at the committee meeting a week and a half ago for the United County group, I stood up and I said, we as a committee endorsed him to run. We carried his petitions. We helped him get his name on the ballot, and then we stopped working. And the only person that worked after that was him. And I apologize because I was distracted with some other things in my life, as I'm sure many of you were. And election night, I can remember sitting in my hotel room, and the race that I was focused on was the presidential race at the time, and we had lost. I was supporting John McCain at the time. The highlight of my day, and I mean this sincerely, was when I saw scrolling along the bottom of the screen the election outcome between Congressman Arcuri and Mr. Hanna. It was close, and it was certainly too close to call, and it was too close to call for a number of days. So I know this time around we're going to work hard. We're not going to let them down, and I know I speak on behalf of all of us. We're grateful that he is pursuing this position again. So on behalf of Bill and Mark and I and all of you folks, I give you Richard Hanna. He will speak for a few minutes, and then we're going to open it up for questions from you. Thanks, Rich.
I don't share his view of the world in terms of how I was helped or wasn't helped. It's kind and generous of him to say that, and as a practical matter, I probably wouldn't have helped myself either. It was a vertical climb from the day I announced to the day of the election. This is one of the largest districts east of Mississippi. It's 11 counties. It goes from northern Herkimer County to Binghamton to Ontario County. And there's lots of farm communities like this one, and it's the big central portion of it is the Utica area. So it was a difficult race because of just the pure size of it. It was also difficult because there's 3 media markets, which makes it expensive. And it was difficult because I was completely unknown. I didn't have, matter of fact, a lot of people thought I was my uncle, who I used to work for him down here at the road factory. If you remember. I know, it's okay. I know him too. The way it was for me was a decision I felt right about. I felt that it was important work. I've always believed in myself, and I thought that if you get out there and you have the right background, the right life experience and you can tell people about it, that you probably ought to be able to do it. I believe that Thomas Jefferson was right, and people like you and me ought to be able to go to Congress, serve a period of time, take their knowledge, impart their wisdom, and go home. And what's happened in this country is we have a class, an aristocracy of politicians who go back no matter what happens. The power of the incumbency is really what hurt a race like mine. There is money to be given away, there is a staff, there is an infrastructure built around protecting incumbency. And the idea that I would have to do what I did and come so close, I think is a testimony to a few things, but I think it's still true that if you're the right person and you have a decent message and you have a good personal history, you can still do that. I mean, we had the closest race in the whole United States against a challenger. And that's no small thing because there were over 220 races, as I remember. So we were outspent by hundreds of thousands of dollars. I started late, and I say that only because I have no regrets. I watched the ticker that night too. I never thought a whole lot about winning or losing. I just thought I was going to do the best I can, and the outcome would be the outcome. And it took 8 days to count the votes. That's how close it was. The absentee ballots are actually how we lost. We also noticed that there's an enormous number of votes that have come from Mr. Obama, President Obama, and that's fine. The simple truth is that this should be our year. Not just if you're a Republican. I had the conservative and the independent endorsements. But it's doable this time. It's doable for a whole host of reasons, many of which you're familiar with. I tell you a little bit about myself. I built your athletic complex here at the high school, my company. I've worked here for many, many years, and I've been in construction. I've got 25 years as an operating engineer. I've been in business. I've got over 450 employees, not all at once. Bill Lockman here was one of them, one of the best people we ever had. And you know, I just felt like I watched this state go downhill. I've lived here long enough to remember when I got out of college and I came back here, I thought I could build a life here, have a family, and that I could count on this state and this community to provide me those things if I went to work and tried hard, that I could survive. Well, I did. But I have never seen a year that, in the 30 years since I've been out of college, that was better than the last one. What I've watched is 1.5 million people in the last 10 years leave this state